Hey, good morning and welcome to Breakthrough Walls. I'm Ken Walls and I'm your host. And today I have one of the most spectacular guests of all time on the show, the one, the only politically savvy. She is she'll talk about all this, but she's a Trump force captain and so much more. Like y'all listen, just share this out, stop everything you're doing and share this with everybody you know. Let's get 1.7 million people watching right now. Stay with us. We will be right back with the one and only politically savvy, also known as just savvy. Here we go. And we're back. Let me bring Savvy on. Here we go. Welcome to the show, Savvy. How are you?
Oh my goodness, Ken, I'm really well. How are you?
If I was any better, I would change my name to Savvy also.
Oh my goodness gracious. You're
I'm
crazy.
so listen, I'm so excited to have you on. You've been one of my heroes for um a long time.
Thank
And
you.
I've seen all of the stuff that you've done with being a Trump force captain.
I was not a Trump force captain.
Oh,
I was
you
a region.
weren't?
No, I was a regional director for the Trump campaign in Georgia,
Oh,
and I recruited Trump force captains. I worked for the campaign in official capacity. Yeah.
oh my gosh, I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
Breaking news. I didn't know that it was that. That's like
Mm-hmm.
way okay. So what okay, I saw it, but I've seen pictures of you wearing a jacket that said Trump Force Captain on it.
No, I have a hat that says Trump force captain, but my
Hmm.
my jackets and everything say Trump bans.
Oh my gosh. Hold on. Let's get you bigger there. Trump Vance. Oh my gosh.
Yep.
Okay, so that is really, really, really cool. That's really
Thank you.
cool. So let's we're gonna get into all of that, but I want to start with kind of telling everybody that may be living under a rock, they don't know who you are.
Mhm.
Tell them where it all began for you. Where were you born and raised?
I was born in Snellville, Georgia. I was born in Gwinnett County. I still live in Gwinnett County. Um, this is my home. It is, I absolutely love the state of Georgia, probably never leaving unless
Yeah.
I get called up to DC, which is a possibility. So yeah, that's where I started at Humana Hospital.
Wow. So you went to school there. Did you go to
hmm
college?
Yep, I sure did. Go dogs. Um,
Okay.
we are we are a legacy family at the University of Georgia.
Wow.
Yes, and I come from a veteran. All the men in my family were veterans, so a military background. Even before John Adams, I am of the John Adams bloodline, so I'm very proud about that.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah. So that the patriotism it runs it runs in the blood.
That's so awesome. So, what was your major then in college? Was it political science?
It was not.
No?
No, it was
Okay.
finance communications.
Okay.
hmm
What point and maybe I'm jumping ahead way too far, but was there did you know early on that you were going to be involved in politics?
I did. I
Did you?
did. I knew it in my gut. My dad has told me, oh goodness, since I was a kid, like, girl, if you, oh, that's my best friend. I love you too, Liberty Valkyrie. Um,
Hold on,
that's
that's
Heather.
Heather. Yeah,
Hmm.
Heather. Yeah,
Yep.
hey Heather. Good to see Heather.
Yes.
There's some comments coming in, so I'll just
Oh,
pop them up.
that's my other bestie. That's Marissa.
Oh, that's so awesome.
Yep.
So so you always knew you were going to be involved somehow in politics.
Hmm. Yeah, my dad, I would sit with him every night, watching the news. And again, he is Army or was Army, he's a veteran. And so I have always had that for love of God, for love of country. I mean, it was instilled in me in such a young age, from my dad, from my granddaddy, and on, and on back. So I always knew that I would somehow be able to answer the call for my country. I didn't think it would be in the military, but I knew it was something in that realm. It was always, always pulling at me. Um, and I tried to fight it for a long time, really. I mean, I've been a card carrying member for the Georgia Republican Party since I was 18, since I could vote.
Wow.
Yes. But I went into banking and finance. Um, and I don't know how deep you want to get into this story. Um,
As far as you want to go. Well,
okay, so I was in banking. It was 2001. So many people have heard this story, but I'm telling it again. It was after September 11th. I was coming home from work, listening to Sean Hannity on the radio on WSB 750 in Atlanta. And at
mm-hmm.
the time, he had Donald Trump on. I believe I still say this, he's a Democrat at this time. And they were talking about September 11th. They were talking about the towers. And, people within my age group, older, we've known Donald Trump our whole lives. But this is the first time I had really, really heard him from almost a political viewpoint. I was captivated, just absolutely captivated. And, Sean asked him at one point, do you think you'll ever run for president? And he gave some cute answer. And I did. I said out loud, I was like, that's my dude. That's my guy. That's my guy. I said, if
Wow.
he ever runs for president, I will do whatever I can do to get him elected, and I will work for him one day. I will do it. Um,
Wow.
and that's when the fire really, I mean, there was always sort of a flicker, but that's when the fire started. And at that point, I was 21 and got really, really, you know, politically motivated within the party just to start grinding, start grinding. And it took up until 2024 for me to um, be hired in official capacity for the campaign and work for the campaign, work for President Trump. But I did
Wow.
it. Hmm.
So, gosh, again, breaking news. I had no idea that you were directly. I
Hmm.
so sorry. I missed something along the way.
No, it's
Um,
okay.
I think that's I'm jealous a little bit. So talk about when should we even talk about this? I don't know. 2020. What a freaking disastrous
Yeah.
nightmare. And Georgia was a big played a
Woo.
big role in that disaster. Um
But Georgia also played a big role in 2024.
Amen, sister. They
So,
did.
yes,
Y'all, yes.
I was I was a poll monitor for not just the Georgia Republican Party, but also for Team Trump in 2020. I monitored Gwinnett County, and then I was called into Fulton County. Um, I made notes. I was, yes, talk about it. She knows exactly what I'm about to say.
Yeah.
So at that point, I had some footage because I am ungovernable, and I had footage that I had taken within the polling places of things that were just not right. And they made it back to the Trump campaign. I was a part of the lawsuit against the state of Georgia
Mm,
um, for President Trump. And that's when things started clicking. So I do have finance background, numbers, data. That is my thing.
Yep.
And then 2022 happened in Georgia. Um, I won't get into the crux of that, but we did lose. That was pretty much on the up and up there. But I started reviewing different sort of voter blocks, uh, campaign strategies, areas of interest. Um, oh my gosh.
That's
Hi.
Lolo. That's
That's
Lolo.
Lolo. That's my girl. I
I
know. I love
love she's
her.
my girl. I love her. She's one of my besties.
Yes.
So go ahead. Go ahead.
So
Sorry.
I started doing a lot of research, looking at who voted, look at what areas didn't vote, looking at certain coalitions that were very important and they're growing. They're growing. So I started putting data together and started making a ground game strategy for, at that point, was just the state of Georgia. I
Mm,
mean, and it even, and this was specifically for 2024 race for President Trump. Um, I mean, it even, again, it entailed certain coalitions that were the top three. Boom, boom, boom. This is where they need to focus.
yeah.
It talked about stadium tours. I mean, it talked about, uh, you know, certain areas that were forgotten about by the GOP, pandered to by the left, strategic office locations, all of that. Well, in the end of 2022, starting 2023, I had done a lot of work with legislatures within the state of Georgia. And one in particular I love so much. I call him my favorite human. That's Senator Brandon Beach. Um, and I had worked with him. He had seen a lot of what I had to offer. And he said, you know what? Oh, and I'm also a state delegate. So I was a state delegate. I have been every year for several years for the state. And we had a convention in Columbus. And he said, you know what? A certain super secret person is coming, and I would like to invite you to be my guest and have a chance to take a picture with the president. I'm like, what? So, but my mind,
Wow.
I want to capitalize on that moment because for me, it is not about pictures or red carpet. I'm going to use this time and I am going to present I was looking for it. It's right over there. Um, if you want me to get it, I'll show you.
Yeah, go for it. Yeah, grab
Okay.
it. Let's do
So,
this.
so this is
Oh,
my binder. This is all of my strategy.
let me give you
And
full screen. Hold on. Let me give you
oh
full
gosh.
screen. There.
Okay. So here is the binder that I took with me that I'd worked on for years. Um, here is the Cliff Notes version. So, and this is very important. But yeah, this has all different datagy. That's a new word. You're welcome. Uh, data, strategy, locations, how certain areas voted. Oh, very important. Absentee ballots. Okay, very important. So I was going to use that opportunity to, the video does not give the binder justice. That is, Heather has seen it. She's like, it is massive. It is massive.
Wow.
Yeah. So I was like, screw a picture. I'm going to shoot my shot because I know this state and I can win this state for him. So I went in and I was in line. I was so nervous. I had already sweat all my makeup off. Um, and then I'm holding my binder and I was just so proud. But I had talked to, she is also on X, Lou Merrill. So I had talked to her a couple days before and she's like, I love this binder idea, but you need to put bullet points, right? Because if you've got to give him something, he's not going to want a big binder. I'm like, that's brilliant. So I did make the Team Trump Georgia campaign strategy, and I have
Wow.
my information here for everything, and then it just outlines everything.
Wow.
And I'm standing in line. I'm ready to go. I got my binder ready, and the cutest little blonde staffer comes up to me and she goes, "I'm going to need to take that." I was like, "Take what?" She's like, "I
Oh
need to
no.
take this. You can't take anything with them or in with you." What? So I freaked out. So
Oh my god.
she's like, "I'm just going to put it right over here." And I was like, "No, I've been preparing for this for over a year and a half.
Oh my
What
god.
am I going to do? I'm going to lose it all." And then she comes up to me and she goes, "Are you ready?" And I was like, "Mm-mm, no, I'm not." And she goes, "Well, too bad." She takes her little hand and kind of pushes me in. And I look down and I look up at him. I'm like, and I just freeze. And he starts laughing. And he looks at me. He goes, "Well, you are beautiful." And I'm like, "You are too, sir." That was what I said to him the first time. My first words were, "You are too, sir." I called him beautiful.
Oh my god,
Um,
that's so funny.
and then I like slowly walk up, like, "Oh my gosh, this is happening." And there's small chit chat. I don't have any clue what was said. And then he looks at me and he says one thing, and that's when I snap back into savvy mode. He goes, "I hear our numbers look good here." I'm sorry, what? Who, who's telling you that? The party. Well, they're wrong, and I can prove it to you. I can prove it how we lost in 2022. I know we lost in 2020, but I have all of the strategy, all of the data, the campaign ground game, sir. I have it all for you, and it is easy if we get on it now. So if you will hand me a Sharpie, because I know you got one, show me the dotted line. I'll sign it, but we got to get going, and we got to get going now. And he looks at me and he's
Wow.
like, "Who are you again?" I was like, "I'm Tiffany Savage, you know?" And
Wow.
he goes, "Do you have all of this with you?" I said, "Yes, sir," but she wouldn't let me bring it in.
Oh my
And he
god.
goes, "I want it." I said, "Yes, sir, you can have it. I've got it ready for you." So then at that point, I was like, "Okay, I don't know what to do now." And he looks at me and goes, "Well, do you want a picture?" And I'm like, "Well, sure." Um, so we take a picture, then it's time for me to go. And he calls out, he's like, "Tiffany Savage." "Yes, sir." He goes, "I'm excited." I was like, "Me too, sir." And then I walk out, and then
Oh my
my
god.
arm gets kind of grabbed, and I'm like, "Oh Lord, what's going on?" I didn't know him at the time. Now we are very good friends, but it was his national campaign director and advisor, Brian Jack, who had been with him since
Wow.
2015, who
Yeah.
just won his seat to Congress. So, yay, Brian Jack. He said, "I understand you have something the president wants." I said, "I sure do. It's right over here." So I get the binder and he goes, I'm like, he can't have the binder. I was like, "But
You said that.
yeah." I was like, "But I have this." I was like, "It is a rundown Cliffs Notes version." And it had all of my information on it. There we go. And he takes it. I was like, "Please make sure he gets this." And he goes, "I have to." Well, then, I get irritated because we're not allowed to go into convention yet. We're doing delegate duties. And he comes back. He's like, you're going in there?" And I was like, "Well, yeah, I kind of got to go. I got to go to vote on our party chairs. Like,
Right.
time's a wasting. I'm a delegate. Like, I got to do my stuff for my state, for my
Right.
people." And he
Right.
goes, "Well, if you'll follow me, the president has a seat for you." And I was like, "But I got to sit with Gwinnett." He's like, "Really?" So I was like, "You know what? On second thought, sure, show the way." And up to
Oh
the
my
front
god.
I went, to the very front. He comes out. He's pointing, waving. I'm sobbing.
Oh man.
Great, great speech. And then about 30 minutes after he had departed, after his speech and he was gone, I started getting random text messages. And Brian and the president had reviewed my strategy. And then come to find out, they took it and they molded it into Trump Force 47. They took it for a test run in Iowa, um,
Wow.
during Iowa caucus. And then we ended up using it or the battleground states.
Oh my god.
Hmm.
Wow.
Yes.
You go girl.
Thank you.
So your strategy was used in more than just Georgia then.
Yes, sir.
That is unbelievable, Savvy. Wow.
Hmm.
Okay, well, class dismissed, y'all.
Yeah.
Um, like seriously, that is incredible.
Thank
How
you.
many how many other times have you I saw yesterday, I think I liked it and shared it, that you were with JD Vance.
Yep. That was at my office. He did um, an OTR, so an off the record, and he came to my office, but I had it set up to where once I sent all of my notes and place cards and seat placement and bios about who were going to be there, they changed it from an OTR to an actual visit. Um, so I got to welcome now Vice President JD Vance to my
Wow.
office in Gwinnett. We had Byron Donalds come by. We had Kash Patel come by. I had Corey Mills call in and do a Zoom call. He and I are friends as well.
Wow.
Just as a last minute push right before election day. Um, so it was exciting. It was a whirlwind. Hmm.
So, Savvy, you have I saw also somewhere that you were looking for a job.
Yep,
That's so funny to say that to you.
it
Like I
was
can't like
wild.
I'm sure. So,
Yeah.
what do you think? I mean, you and I both do a lot of spaces,
Hmm.
and I've gotten really passionate about it. Honestly, I built a huge following on Facebook, like an idiot. And then after seeing all the suppression and the crap,
Yeah.
I gotta. I love the way Zuck is coming out now, trying
Oh
to
my goodness.
he's
Yeah.
trying to avoid a prison sentence, I think. But the what do you think is going to, or do you have any thoughts that you are willing to share about what's going to happen? I mean, there's so much speculation. I mean, I'm excited about Cash. I think
Yes.
he's freaking awesome. JD is from my home state of Ohio.
Mm-hmm.
um some amazing things are getting ready to happen, and I think I just said the other day, I said I think it's all going to hit the fan. People have no clue what's getting ready to happen. They think they know, but they don't.
Correct. That's correct. Um, and it's not going to be like when they're confirmed in these hearings and President Trump is back on the 20th, all the skies will part. It's going to be sunshine and rainbows and butterflies and
No.
angels. No. You
No.
can expect, and this is again from my point of view, from what I know, from
Yeah.
all of the things, the next 18 to 24 months are going to be dicey because you have people that are within these administrations and departments. Auntie Connie! Hi, I love you. I
She's
love
my very best
oh,
friend on X. I love that woman. She's
so do
amazing.
I.
She's
She
amazing.
is. But you have people within these organizations, groups, agencies who are frightened, uh, who are angry, and they will show it.
Yeah.
Um, and we've seen some of these things happen since November 5th, especially since January 1st of this year. Um, and this is sort of when I try to bring that calming to everyone because they're like, oh my gosh, what about this? What about this? And I'm like, stop, settle down.
Yeah.
Because there are certain things that have happened or things that have come out that are going to happen on January 10th. Wink, wink, everyone listening. Do not get reactionary. Do not show anger in public. It's already been worked out. There have already been negotiations made We know why Judge Mershon is doing exactly what he's doing because he wants that on his resume.
Can
And
I
I'm
just say this publicly though about Judge Mershon?
sure it's your show.
It's my opinion. I'm just going to interject my opinion. I think he's a scumbag.
Oh, 1000% he is.
I mean, a
1000.
scumbag.
But
You,
go ahead.
well, you said that to me the other night on
Hmm.
a space, about this whole January 10th because I'm pissed off about it. But you're like,
Hmm.
nope, just
Nope.
settle down.
Yes, yes. Cooler heads prevail in something like
Yeah,
this. Uh, just because, and we're seeing a lot of things happen with military or veterans or Trump supporters since January 1st. They're trying to cause public outrage, and that cannot happen. Just like I said, cooler heads prevailed. President Trump, I truly believe, like this is going to be a totally different administration than his first term when he was, he's a little wet behind the ears. We do not have
yeah.
that Trump anymore, and you can tell with these appointees that he is ready to. I mean, he is ready to rock and roll, ready to expose
Yeah.
everything that he wasn't able to do during his first term. And he's putting the correct people in place.
I've said publicly that I truly believe there's going to be a scorched earth situation
Oh, I hope so.
on a biblical scale. I do too, because honestly, after 2020 and all of that nonsense, and then let's talk about this. The day that he was shot, like, ugh, I remember exactly where I was,
Same.
and I was watching it on RSBN, and I had gone out running errands, so I had don't do this. I'm not recommending this, but I was watching it while I was driving back to my office on my phone,
I do it all the
and
time.
so I'm watching it, and I'm like, oh, this is going to be great, and then I'm like, okay, there's going to be a hiccup between when I get out of my car in the elevator up to the third floor to my office, but it'll be all right. And I get up to my office, I turn it back on my computer, and literally that is when it was all breaking loose. I'm like, what happened? And I had to rewind it a little bit. And I was like, you've got to be kidding me. And I remember tearing up and going, what in the world is going on in this world? And so what were you doing?
I was folding clothes. I was folding clothes and, oh, thank you.
That's Cody.
Um, hi, Cody. Oh, yeah, I know Cody. Hey, Cody.
Cody, we try to keep Cody hidden most of the
Oh,
time. I'm kidding. I'm kidding, Cody.
my daughter was with me. Yep. And Marissa was on the phone with me. So that was because I immediately called for my daughter. She's 13 and a huge Trump supporter. I think it was somewhat shock. So at
Yeah.
that time, of course, I'm the regional director for Northeast Georgia for President Trump, and I watched it happen. And I sat there and I was like, okay. And my mind works different from other people because as soon as I saw that he was okay, I was on the phone with Marissa. I'm like, I got to call you back. I get on the phone with our state director and I'm like, I'm assuming we're on a full on blackout. He's like, what are you talking about? What?
He
I was
didn't
like, are
know.
you not watching what's happening? He's like, no, I'm folding laundry. I'm like, well, turn on your TV. So I went into, all right, I have got to find a way to laser focus on my campaign because I was that close from losing the what would be the leader of
Yeah.
you know our country, someone whom I had literally worked my whole life in order to be able to work for, and our country was that close to being done. So that's when I went into overdrive. I mean, I even went rogue with the campaign after that. I'm like, this ain't running the way I wrote it. Here we go. I am out. I am focusing on President Trump. We will win. I did not cry until much later. We were then called for the next day. Um, we had a national all call for all of staff. I went into my office at Gwinnett. I mean, we are on Zoom, and my window, I had two windows, one on either side. And during this call, I see the berries and cherries from Gwinnett County start zooming into my parking lot. And I was like, what is happening? So I
Wow.
have to mute everything, go out, and they said, we need you to evacuate your buildings. There is there is a high level threat on this office. And I would
Wow.
suggest you even go get a rental car. This was a Sunday.
What?
Um, what? So I made it to Enterprise Rent a Car at 1 o'clock right before they closed. I got a rental car. We didn't go into our office the next day either. But at that point, I went in over hyper drive, trying to encourage, my Trump Force captains, which were our volunteers, trying to encourage them, keep them on task while also recruiting more. And it wasn't till he came to Atlanta for a rally. Um, it was a big one at Georgia State. And when I knew it was just about time, I literally removed myself, went all the way to the upper top deck by the Jumbotron because I knew what was about to happen. Because anyone that knows me knows that I am very emotional and very passionate. And I just, as soon as I saw him walk out, I started sobbing. But to commemorate him and the victory, I actually, behind this ear, I have a tattoo, and it is in red, and it is 47 because this is the ear that he was shot in.
Oh
So
my.
behind this ear, I have a 47 red tattoo to signify that there's my boy. Uh,
You know
that,
Charlie? I love
I
Charlie.
do. Yeah.
Oh, I love Charlie.
But yeah, so to commemorate that, I have a 47 red tattoo behind my ear to commemorate the time that not,
No.
that America at that point was back, and we were going to fight to win, to take our country back. And we did, and we won.
Wow.
Hmm.
Have you ever posted that tattoo?
It was a very short, quick post, but it's funny because I don't know how to get a good picture. So, but it's cool.
That's so awesome. I want to see it. I want to see it.
I don't know if I can
Oh,
show
she's
it.
gonna hold on. Let me give you full screen. Let's see.
Oh
Maybe
gosh,
we
this is terrible. I don't know if I gotta take my headphone off. Okay. Can you see it? Yep. So there it is. Thank you.
folks. First time on video.
I hope one of my friends screenshotted that because I still haven't seen it since I got it. So
Well,
I
we'll
took a
we'll
real quick picture the day I got it. That was it.
that is so awesome. So, gosh, I had like you're telling this story, and we're jumping around, and that's fine. I don't care. When you go back to talk a little bit about the whole turning against Trump.
Hmm.
You see these, I'm sorry, but they're idiots on the View, and I mean, they're borderline Satanists,
Hmm.
on the View, and you see all these people that Trump helped over the years. He did so many good things for people. He was a Democrat most of his life, and then they all turn on him.
Hmm.
What's that all about?
You know, I don't have the right answer to that. I don't know. I don't understand it. Um, before and it could be something as simple as, oh crap, like he's been in on the inner circle. He knows all the deep, dark secrets, whatever the case may be. Um, but I don't know. It's extremely sad um,
Yeah.
that so many people have turned their back on President Trump when at one point he was in rap videos. He was in Home Alone 2. He was in magazines. You know, he was everywhere. And then just like that, as soon as he decided to run for president, I mean, the arrows started slinging at him, but boy, did he take them. And he would stand up every single day and say, do your worst. And they tried. And he still just kept taking them. And now we got him a second time. And America should feel so incredibly lucky. Um, I mean, we've seen even since he was elected on November 5th, we've seen so much change. I mean, you've got Trudeau stepping down, juniors in Greenland. I mean, oh, you have all of these colleges that are now getting rid of their DEI classes and policies. You have it's just you have Mexico saying, fine, yes, fine, we'll take all your illegal immigrants. We don't care if they're from here, we'll take them. Um, and it's just it's a wonderful thing to watch, and I think it was maybe important for us to see just how bad it could get, and we weren't even there yet, and it was still really bad. I saw that. I don't see you anymore, but you did sort of freeze. Take your time. It could be a thing. There's some people that don't like me. That's fine. I'm hanging. How's everybody on X doing? Where else are you? You're on Rumble? YouTube? Maybe? Hi, guys. I'm not good at a time filler. I will check X. Oh, thank you, Spirit Patriot. Thank you so much. And my gorgeous hair. Thank you. Oh my gosh. I'm trying to read comments to fill time. It's not, oh my gosh, Aladdin, it's not my birthday. It's John Rich's birthday. If you're watching this, go wish John Rich a happy birthday. Okay. Are you there, Ken?
Okay,
There
sorry.
you are.
I'm so sorry. I've never had that happen. My entire browser started flicker. It was I've never
Oh,
seen.
wow.
Wow. I've done
Now,
over
there are people that don't like me, so
streams too.
no telling.
It's they're not happy. That's what's going on. These
Mm-mm.
bastards, pardon my language. But so I apologize for well, I've never had it happen. So,
Well, you're
um,
welcome.
yeah. So back to it started flickering right when you were talking about was right after we got done talking about the assassination attempt.
Hmm.
So you went the campaign had to did did the campaign did you see it completely change at that point? Like, I mean, it almost had to have.
So, what the big change that I saw was in volunteers. Um, before people were somewhat leery to get out and to knock on doors. I did. I broke the internet.
You did. You did.
um,
That's
they
funny.
were frightened to get out there and knock on doors, because that's one thing that COVID
Yeah.
did do, um, was got people comfortable staying in. And so it was our job to get them out because we needed to reach these low prop voters,
Yeah.
um, that hadn't voted in the past few election cycles. Um, and after that happened, it was this groundswell of excitement and patriotism within our communities, and volunteers were coming out of the woodwork. We were doing 2 and 3 Trump Force captain trainings a day, um, with in person, with Zoom. It didn't matter. We couldn't keep enough signs in the warehouse. We couldn't keep enough literature in the warehouse
Wow.
because, I mean, we were making moves. And it's funny and it kind of ticks me off because Pennsylvania, love you, Pennsylvanians. However, during the campaign, Georgia beat Pennsylvania every single week on outreach and voter turnout.
Wow.
Just saying. Yeah.
I hope Scott Pressler's not watching.
Scotty P is a dear friend of mine. Oh my gosh.
I love
I love
Scott.
that dude. But yes, as far as the campaign, we had better numbers in Pennsylvania and Georgia.
That's
So I just had to
incredible.
put that little dig in there.
So were you out your I again I the internet is a noisy busy place. So and you're one, like, there are 7 people that I have notifications turned on for, and you're one of them, Savvy.
Thank you. That's
I
very kind.
I run 7 different companies, and I'm like, I don't have the time to keep up with all the notifications, right? So
Yep.
you've got, you're one of them, and because I
Thank
love
you.
your content, just like singing happy birthday to John Rich today was amazing.
Thank
So, but like, what was I was getting ready to ask you, lost it. I'm still kind of concerned about why this internet
No,
hiccup
I get
happened.
it. We were talking about volunteers here.
You went out and knocked on doors personally.
Hmm. My daughter did too, and we weren't supposed to. But I'm like, you can't tell me I can't do what I do. I phone banged from my office. I made my daughter a campaign sidekick account. I made her a walk list.
I love it.
So we went and knocked doors. Sure did. Um, that was fun. And my daughter, let me just tell you, again, she's 13. She's the most based girl ever. During Iowa caucus,
I
myself,
love it.
and a few others got the largest group of phone bankers to call for Iowa.
Oh my
And my
god.
daughter was one of them. She was 12 at the time. So watching my daughter sit and make campaign phone calls for President Trump, have these conversations, some of those people had never caucused before, and there's a difference between a caucus and a primary. So watching my 12-year-old define the difference between both of them, I was just like, and then she would
Wow.
come and she'd be like, Mom, call the campaign. I'm like, what's happening? And she goes, this person lives on such and such route and they're in a snowstorm and the snowplows haven't come out in 2 or 3 days. They can't make it to caucus. And I'm like, bet. So then I would call people in Iowa and say, yo, you need to call Iowa DOT. We got to get them out there, clear the roads. Within 2 hours, their roads were clear and they were on their way to caucus. But my daughter one
Wow.
day had the most amount of phone banking calls for Iowa caucus of anyone else in the country. And I'm
That
like,
is
that is
so
my girl.
awesome.
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
14-year-old daughter is based as well, and
Mhm.
she had a huge Trump anyway, this she wanted it for Christmas, so we got her this giant Trump thing to put on her wall where he's wearing a cowboy hat and
Yep.
sunglasses. So that's amazing. So when something weird happened in this country, and I really think that the cognitive dissonance got so deep and ingrained that people were afraid. People that loved Trump, supported Trump, would take a bullet for Trump, were afraid to tell people about it.
Mhm.
And there was a stretch of time where I was like, I mean, I own like 10 different Trump hats, and I was afraid to wear a Trump hat. Not afraid, I was just like, what are people gonna
Who
say? and
cares?
and my next door neighbors I know are liberals, and I'm like, Ugh. How did you handle that? Because I know that being working ca- my wife is watching, by the way. I didn't Jill, she
Hey,
worked
Jill.
for the campaign. She wasn't a Trump force captain. She recruited Trump force captains.
Mhm.
So when how did you handle that with the people that were like, yeah, I kind of don't want anybody to know?
I am not polite when it comes to something like that. Um, because from the day he left office, I wore something Trump every single day.
Wow.
And I'm talking every day. I have an obscene amount of Trump hats. I posted a picture of a good amount of them. That's not all of them. I
Wow.
have an obscene amount of hoodies and sweatshirt or like t-shirts, and I would do it every I would wear a Trump hat. If I was going out, I was wearing one of my Trump hats every single time.
Wow.
Um, and at the beginning, it was in, 2021, it was dicey. It was, got uncomfortable. People threatened me. I got threatened in
What?
airports. Oh yeah. Um,
Wow.
but you just have to stand firm. Um, in your beliefs and in your convictions, because being a patriotic American, you shouldn't be afraid of that.
I
And
mean,
that,
and in
well,
hindsight, you're right, but there were
mhm.
there were airlines kicking people off of flights because they were wearing a freaking shirt or a hat.
Oh yeah. Well, kick me off. I'll go viral and I'll make it. I'll get people talking about y'all too, because that ain't gonna happen. Not
Yeah.
on my watch. Um, I would. There would be people yelling obscenities to me and this, that,
What?
and the other thing. Bleh. I don't care. I don't care. I see someone with a Black Lives Matter hat or whatever, or unmasked. I don't care. I'm not going to go up to you and tell you what an idiot you are, but I'm going to laugh at you, whatever. You do you, boo, because we're about to change some things.
I love
Um,
that.
and yes, just unapologetically American. And then I saw it start to, take hold in other places. And I started seeing, larger platforms starting to echo the same sentiments that I was using my platform for. And then people are basically like, FAFO, say something. I don't care.
Yeah.
And then, and and what I would say to people, especially after the president was shot, and they'd be nervous. I'm like, so you're telling me you're too scared to go and knock 10 doors after that man took a bullet for you?
Yeah.
And then that's where their mind would be like, oh,
Yep.
right. And sign me up. Let's go. And I had that written on my countdown. He, you
Wow.
know, he took a bullet for you. What are you willing to do for him?
Yep.
And that it was just, like I said, it was a juggernaut once it started going.
I think, at least for me, um it was at that moment that I was like, what is
Hmm.
wrong with me and the rest of this world? There was this, it's just like I said, we're on Um, look, my wife. Look what my wife just said. If our 14-year-old was watching right now, she'd say you're a baddie.
Thanks.
But she would. We're gonna make her watch this later. But it's like there was that moment, I think, for most of us where it like went this for me. I was like, did that really just happen? They
Hmm.
really tried to. And then the Secret Service situation on the golf course, and all the things that have gone on, and it's like I, I'm I, I'm excited about what's coming.
Hmm.
I'm really excited. I
I'm
really hope.
unburdened by what has been.
Was that beautiful watching her
Oh my
read
gosh.
that?
Yes.
I'm
I
like,
thought it was the best when she had to read her own name. And then you kind of look over and Speaker Johnson's like, you know,
that was so funny.
it
So
was
what's
great.
in the works for you? Let's talk about what's coming with Savvy.
Okay. Well, I was uh, created a position within Old Glory Bank as a marketing and communications strategist. That's oldglorybank.com. Go check them out. They're wonderful. The founders are birthday boy John Rich, Larry
Oh,
Elder, Ben Carson, and it was founded right due to the fact of what happened to Mike Lindell. He started getting debanked, deplatformed, and then you started seeing a lot of constitutional conservatives being debanked due to government overreach and spying, those that were in the 2A space, pro life space. Um, so that I am helping them with their marketing and communications, but also
you
perhaps
want perhaps,
three
maybe.
different places: Library of Congress, HHS, Department of Commerce. We'll see. Um,
Wow.
so, yeah, that's
That's so exciting. I'm
it is.
so excited for you.
Thank
I
you.
think, the number one thing for that people could take away from watching you over the years is um what my buddy Grant Cardone
I
says.
love Grant.
I
He's great.
he's been my mentor and friend since 2014.
Hmm.
Grant has a saying, and it goes like this. And for those of you that are offended by cursing, plug your ears. But he says, "Don't be a little bitch."
Hmm.
and and I think
Yes.
we're at that point in this country where if that's what you've been, it's time to stop being that and grow a
Hmm.
pair and freaking stand up for what's right, because
That's right.
we don't get it. This is it. This
This is it.
this is
Yeah.
our last shot. If we don't turn it around, I truly believe our country is in a lot of trouble,
Hmm.
big time. So,
You're right.
Savvy, I don't want to keep you forever. I know you're
Yeah,
very
fine.
busy, but okay. So if you were to have the stage with a microphone and you could talk to all 8.5 billion people on planet Earth at the same time, what message would you deliver to them? What would you say to everybody if they could hear your voice right now? What would you say to the entire world?
Wow. I have never been asked that question before.
You should have watched a couple of episodes then. I'm kidding. I don't ask everybody.
Um, Now, do you want it on a from a personal aspect or political?
Either
Okay.
or both. I
Um,
don't care.
okay. Don't be afraid to chase your dreams, no matter how big, no matter how small. Um, my dream to work for President Trump uh, began in 2001, and it took me 23 years to achieve it. And it was so difficult. Um, every time I think I was at the top of a mountain, come to find out, I would look up and I was maybe at base camp one. Um, but I did it. There were friends. I lost family members. I was told, why do you do this? This is crazy. What, it's not going to make a difference. You're not getting paid anything. That was before, of course, the campaign. Um, you're stretching yourself to your limit. You're not sleeping. You're not eating. Your health is bad. Um, but there was always a burning and a drive, and I asked the Lord to use me, and he did it. But I also had to honor the fact that I know for a fact he put me and this dream, this goal, he instilled that in me from a very young age, and I wasn't going to turn my back on it. And so no matter what, no matter how hard it is, don't stop. Don't stop dreaming. Do not stop pushing yourself to reach your goals, because you will get there. And it is the most satisfying thing to sit there and be like, I did it.
Yeah.
I did it when it seemed like everyone was against me. And to believe in yourself. And I still have to tell myself that every single day, to have confidence, to believe in myself, and to breathe positive energy into myself every single day, because I am very good at breathing life into others. But when it comes to myself, I
Yeah.
seem to extinguish it. So to start every day just with a positive outlook, and just do it. Just get out. And if you don't think you have a voice for something, find something you are good at. Make yourself an expert in it. And just do it. And it doesn't matter how old you are either. You can still
Doesn't.
always set new goals and dreams for yourself, but don't give up on yourself, because then you can change
Amen.
the outcome of an election.
It's absolutely true, and you absolutely changed the outcome of the election. You may have outdone Scott Pressler. Sorry, Scott.
No, we
I'm
have
just
hands
playing.
going across the finish line.
I know. I'm just he comes into some spaces that I've been
Hmm.
in, and he just sits down there. He won't
I
come up on
know.
stage. I'm like,
Mm-mm.
Scott, come up on stage. And so,
Yeah,
but I love Scott. I love
I
you.
do
I love
too. Thank you. I
what
love
you
you.
all did for this country. And I suspect that yeah. Here's what Marissa says. You can always borrow my faith in you.
Oh, thank you, Marissa.
And
That's
I
very
think
kind.
that we all have that faith in you, and belief in you, and who you are and what you've done. It's unbelievable. It really
Thank
is.
you.
And you should get some sort of a presidential medal, quite
Oh, gosh.
frankly. Um,
I'd be a ball bag if that ever happened. I can't imagine.
but it is
I just want the
you're
signed Tiffany blue hat. There's a Tiffany blue Trump hat. Like, sir, please, please. That's it. That's all
we
I
got
want.
we got to make that happen.
Yeah.
President Trump, I know you're watching, so please get her one of those. Here's the thing that I think is most incredible is, I teach people how to reach higher in life to obtain their dreams, and you are literally the epitome of when you have a burning desire. Napoleon Hill in Think and Grow Rich called it a burning desire. When you
Mhm.
have that burning desire and you're like, no matter what, no matter what. I remember when said the same thing about becoming friends with Grant Cardone. I was like, I'm on
Mhm.
this dude, and it took, you wouldn't even. I'm not going into that, but it took a lot to get on his radar. You know
Mhm.
what I'm talking
Oh, I
about.
do. Yes.
Yeah, it's incredible. So, good for you. I mean,
Thank you.
seriously, good for you, and thank you for what you've done. You're a real American hero. I mean that. You are.
Thank you.
I mean it.
Thank you.
So, everybody watching, if you've not shared this out, there is time for you to redeem yourself and share this out. I mean, everybody needs to hear your interview. Is there anything else you would like to share with the audience before we wrap this up?
Oh gosh. I don't know right now. Just thank you all so much for your support in me. If you follow me, um, if the best way you can help me is if you're able to subscribe to my X. That way, it helps further what I can do on a ground level with ground games campaigns with midterms coming up. Um, oh, thank you so much, Miss Jill. I
That's
appreciate
that's
it.
my wife.
But that is, or if there is another content creator like Ken, doing such great work, getting the word out for grassroots, which is so important, subscribe to him. That's how we're able to really further our America First movement. That way, it doesn't stop in 2028. We are
Yeah,
gearing up and ramping up already in the works for the midterms. And that's where, we are really going to have to push hard for our America First candidates, get rid of the rhinos, and just to also get involved within your community.
yeah.
Yeah, so that's pretty much it.
What so real quick, and I know we're a little bit over, but
Okay.
real quick, the midterms, what can somebody, and by the way, I'm not monetized yet, so
Hmm.
I've only been back
Okay,
for
you'll get
5 or 6 months. But and if I'm not I think if I'm not subscribed to you, I will be today.
thank
I
you.
think I am though, um but what can somebody, just the average person, do? I had uh Ken Paxton. Michelle is
Oh
Ken
yeah.
Paxton. Do you know Michelle?
Hmm.
So she comes into a lot of spaces that I do, and they have a list of rhinos in Texas, thank God. But is
I'm
there
a
a
part of the
list?
rhino removal project.
What is
So
it?
this is the rhino removal project.
Yes,
There's a account on X, Leo the Lion,
he
and we have
follows me.
started. Yep, we have started the rhino removal project. This is where we basically make a list, and this is where I could talk about this all day. So getting involved within your local GOP,
Yeah.
that is the biggest thing. Um, because that's where everything starts. Look at every single elected official at one point in time, they were a part of a local GOP and then just started moving up the ranks. So
Okay.
being a part of your local GOP, vetting your candidates, state candidates are so very important because they safeguard your state's constitution. um, so those are huge. Now, the state races, volunteering your time for an America First candidate is huge because the budgets they have are much smaller.
Yeah.
So making phone calls, door knocking, setting up meet and greets for that candidate to come in for a breakfast or a lunch. That is very, very impactful moving forward, but also elevating that person by the door knocking, but also getting involved within your county local GOPs, vetting your committee members, becoming a delegate or a precinct committeeman is huge,
Okay.
because it's all local based because that is grassroots, and grassroots is what wins elections.
So you just walk into your local GOP office
Yep.
and say, "I want to help."
Yeah, what you can do is, for instance, in Gwinnett County, we have our own website. Most of the GOP have websites, their county websites. Go into events, and there is a probably a monthly breakfast. That's a first perfect place to go, that because you don't feel like, ugh. So you can walk in,
Yeah.
have breakfast. Normally there's a local candidate or committee person there that will be speaking. um, Pay your $20, your $40 to make sure that you are a member of your GOP, and then just start talking to people. You can request meetings with committee members, with with your GOP chairs, um,
Okay.
attend events and fundraisers, campaign events, and then just just get involved. There is a place for you, I promise.
And we'll wrap this up. Again, I could talk with you all day, literally, but
Thank you.
I again I want to respect your time though, but with the people that because I didn't realize that all of those were options, quite
Hmm.
frankly. So I think, and I've looked at this for a while going, I don't really feel like we have a Republican and Democrat party anymore. It sort of feels like there's been this uniparty and now it's MAGA against the uniparty.
Hmm.
And I don't know if that's true or not. There seems to be a whole lot of rhinos that certainly
Hmm.
aren't conservative the way that they used to be. So I love everything you just said. And is there a certain website that you want to talk about with that for the rhino removal project? Is there a website for it?
Well, they can, yes, there is. I
Okay.
believe so.
Okay.
We just started working on my phone.
Yeah.
Um, he is Leo the Lion on X.
Okay.
Um, and I have recently reposted him. So
Okay.
if you go to my page, you'll be able to see it there. And it's,
Okay.
like I said, the Rhino Removal Project.
We need to remove the rhinos, y'all. So
Yes.
let's all get involved in this so we don't go back. We got to keep moving
Hmm.
forward and change this country, and it's going to take all of us. There's
Yes.
not just we didn't just vote in President Trump and now it's going to magically be fixed.
Hmm.
It's going to involve all of us.
That's right.
So wow, Savvy, thank you, and I'm sorry for the little hiccup we had
You're
there with
fine.
the I don't know what happened. They I think they were trying to censor us, but
Probably
that didn't work. So
happens all the time.
yeah. Well, thank you so much. And
You're
I'm
so
gonna
very
end the
welcome.
live stream, but if you could stay on for just a minute and
Sure.
you and I'll chat real quick after I end it. But thank you to everybody who's watched. If you're not
Yes.
following Savvy on X, make sure you go follow at Patriot_Savvy, SAVVY. For those of you listening on the podcast networks, it's Patriot_SAVVY, Victor Y. So go follow Savvy on X and subscribe to her. I think there's probably a donate app. Go help her do what
Hmm.
she's doing. So just everybody get
Please.
involved and thank you, Savvy, from the bottom of my heart for helping save America. You played one of the biggest roles, so thank
Thank
you.
you. Nope, the honor was all mine.
You're amazing. So
Thank you.
we'll see you all later. Stay with me. I'm gonna wrap this up, but stay with me. I want to chat with you real quick. Y'all have a great day. Thank you so much, and thank you again, Savvy. Bye bye.
You're welcome. Bye.
Bye bye.